We are live here on YouTube for the Enjoy Illinois 300 here at Gateway Motorsports Park. Let me see, is there still time to set up my lineup? Because I was busy setting other stuff up. Probably not, as we are getting ready for the green flag here any minute. Yeah, nope, it's locked. Great. Alright, well, we are all in and we are set up. But, yeah, ultimately, while I was trying to get all the stream stuff set up, and then missing out on my window to set my fantasy roster. But, yeah, we are here and we are ready for a nice good race here at Worldwide Technology Raceway, otherwise known as Gateway Motorsports Park. Michael McDowell will lead them from the pole position, and as if you guys don't already know, I am a massive Mike McDowell fan, so I was stoked beyond belief when I saw Michael McDowell set the track record in Q1, and then backed it up with a pole position in the top 10 shootout for the pole position. So, Austin Cindric on the front row, also a very impressive day for a driver, just not quite as much a favorite of mine. Then you've got Blaney third, fourth is going to be Christopher Bell, fifth Tyler Reddick, sixth DennyHamlin, seventh Keselowski, eighth Bubba Wallace, ninth Ty Gibbs, and rounding out your top 10 starters here today will be Kyle Busch. So there we go. A little bit late on the stream again because I've had to set some things up that were not foreseen. Alright, so here we go. And so you got a couple of drivers talking about the track, and yeah, this is definitely an interesting track. It's very much like a long Martinsville, or very similar to a New Hampshire type of track, which is not a bad thing. Alright, here we go. And we are ready for the start of the race. The pace car is leading the field. Believe we might be seeing the lights go off here momentarily. The field is doubled up. Michael McDowell has elected to start on the inside of row number 1. But, yeah, so here we go. 240 laps, 300 miles. A nice short race today, honestly. Compared to your standard Cup race, we're going 100 to 200 less miles than the average Cup race. Alright, so here we go. So, the only drivers to finish top 10 in both of the Gateway races so far have been Truex, Kyle Busch, Blaney, and Logano. Obviously, Kyle Busch and Logano being the two winners. And all four of those drivers just happen to be looking for win number 1 of the season. So, there we go. We're getting all set up and ready for this one. Hopefully you guys are excited. If you guys are, of course, hit the like button and subscribe if you guys are new. We've been doing these streams all season long. No real plan on stopping them anytime soon. Apologies, I did mean to stream one of the 2 races yesterday, but I was under the weather, so back to about 90% here today, so we're ready to go racing. But, yep, here we go. Definitely wish I'd remembered to set my lineup. And by remembered, I mean saved enough time to deal with everything. Alright, so here we go. We got the Chili's on board. Ooh, Chili's sponsoring the number 7 car. And I see Spire Motorsports actually having decent sponsorship here. So, we got the Hendrick cars, after practicing not great, they actually qualified a lot better than we thought they would. Byron 11th, Larson 13th, ChaseElliott all the way back in 17th. I mean, ironically, those are all very good qualifying efforts. Oh, yeah, Bowman up in 14th, almost. Kind of just glazed right over him. So all 4 Hendrick cars starting inside the top 20 after they really struggled in the practice session just beforehand. And no, actually, Mike McDowell has opted to choose the outside lane as the lights have come off on the pace car. So Mike McDowell going to try and launch from the top of the racetrack and make something happen here. And let's see what is going to happen here. Got Cindric, Blaney on the inside. Could those 2 Fords end up checking up the inside line to try and work with Mike McDowell? Or are those 2 Penske Fords going to try and work against the Penske-affiliated Ford of Front Row Motorsports? Especially with a driver who will not be a Front Row Motorsports Ford next year, and he will not be a Ford at all next year. And I still think that is ridiculous that Front Row Motorsports wasn't willing to ink McDowell to a long-term contract as they go green, 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 green flags out, and McDowell is away with the lead. He's got the race clear, and he can start to choose both lanes and just block both lines. They are now 3 wide for second as Austin Cindric gets split 2-3 wide there by his teammate Ryan Blaney and Christopher Bell on the top side. And they are already starting to attack him, but so far Mike McDowell able to actually hold on to the lead position. Nobody was really able to challenge him on the start. Got the start cleaning away. Unfortunately, with all the rain we had yesterday, I don't know how much rubber the trucks were actually able to lay down. Oh, whoa! Speaking of people laying the rubber down now, the number 6 of Brad Keselowski goes for a power slide. And, man, Logano's thing is very dirty already. But, yeah, Brad Keselowski just went for a massive power slide. I've got to see what happened there. But, yeah, whatever it was not very good for him. But it seems like he's caught the car and is going to stabilize himself somewhere just outside the top 10. Hey, Random, how's it going? Hey, J Fast, how's it going? There we go. We got 2 people hanging out in chat. Again, Michael McDowell at the top of the leaderboard. You got Byron and Busch currently battling it out for the 9th position here. Oh, we got a caution flag. Oh, the 15 and 20 and not 24. The 42 have tangled up. John Hunter Nemechek, and I have no idea who's in the 15 today. Let's see. Who is in the number 15 car today? Is it Gralla? Is it Cody Ware? I legitimately did not care enough to look at the full entry list. Let's see. It is Cody Ware. Of course it's Cody Ware. Well, anyone who put money on Cody Ware being the cause of the first caution, not surprised. So here we go. Let's see. And we're going to commercial. We're going straight to commercial break. Okay, well, it's gonna be some fun, but so yeah, right now though, Michael McDowell. Hey, I'm very happy that he was able to lead that one. I'm curious to see how he'll do with a more competitive car that will likely share the front row with him, because it'll either be Christopher Bell on the inside of the front row or Ryan Blaney. So, I'm curious to see how Michael McDowell is able to do hanging on to this one. I would not be shocked if he gets taken 3 wide the same way Cindric did on the original start. Although, again, Michael McDowell will have control of the restart when we get back to the green. So, have to wait and see on this one. Alright, let's see. Chase Elliott managed to move up a spot before the yellow flag came out. Again, Brad Keselowski had that big power slide, ended up landing in 11th place at the time of the caution. No other real major drivers moving forward or backwards, aside from obviously Nemechek and Cody Ware both being in serious questions as to if they're even going to be able to keep racing, and if they do, they'll probably be multiple laps down. So who's the who's the Toyota missing from the top 10? Is it Truex? Yeah, Truex is the Toyota missing from the top 10. Yeah, Truex in 18th, and then we got Eric Jones in 25th. Alright, let's see. So my drivers are Kyle Busch, Stenhouse, and Michael McDowell are kind of my big three that I root for. AJ Allmendinger, whenever he comes up to Cup, I tend to root for as well, but those are kind of my big three in Cup, and have been my big three in Cup for a couple years now. Hey Caroline, how's it going? Alright, we're starting to have, we got quite a few people hanging out in chat. Thank you guys for deciding to spend your Sunday afternoon here with me. Is my mic working? Because I know I'm replaying stuff in. Okay, yeah, my mic is working. Okay. But, yeah, Mike McDowell, Kyle Busch, and, yeah, no, I know I defended Larson the other day when you were talking about him, and I still think he did very good at Indy for being a rookie and having never driven those cars before. But no, I'm not the biggest Kyle Larson fan. But yeah, I mean, I think genuinely, I think that almost any driver that drives for Hendrick Motorsports instantly becomes overrated, and like, you can look at pretty much every driver that's ever driven for them, especially from the year 2000 onward. You've got Jeff Gordon. I think definitely, especially the longer into his career he went, ended up at a point being overrated, although he was a very talented driver. And he was inside the top 10 all day long before the speeding penalty at Indy. So either you didn't watch the race, or my guess is you only looked at the actual finishing order, and maybe that one highlight of that restart where his gearbox didn't want to work. But yeah, then going on with the other Hendrick Motorsports drivers, Casey Kane was overrated. Look at some of the other drivers like Brian Vickers, Casey Mears, some of the other guys who cycled through there. Again, not saying that any of these drivers are bad drivers, but they definitely got way more praise and stuff than they ever should have while they were at the, yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. The Jeff Gordon of 2010 onward, that Jeff Gordon. So 2010 to 2015 Jeff Gordon is who I was referring to when I definitely specify the overrated part. Honestly, I'm not even sure. I wouldn't put Gordon on my Mount Rushmore. I would probably put him in the consideration for 5th on in my list of top 10 drivers. Or even top 5 drivers, I would probably consider putting him 5th, and you'd have a very strong case for it. But I mean, if you're talking about greatest drivers of all time, you've got Dale Sr. in his prime. You've got Richard Petty, which you can't really take him out of that top 3, I don't think. Jimmy Johnson was amazing for those first 5 to 10 years. And here we go, back to racing. Green, and alright, yep, it's going to be a much more highly contested fight here off of turn 2, as Mike McDowell not able to clear Christopher Bell, and Christopher Bell able to hold him on that outside, but the run off the top of the corner, and McDowell able to block. Let's go. McDowell able to get down in front of the 20 of Christopher Bell, and able to utilize some of that dirty air, and that is unfortunately a factor of this driver. And I say, look at Jimmy Johnson from 2006 to, or really from 2002 to 2010, and tell me that you wouldn't at least consider him inside the top 5 greatest drivers of all time. Yeah, his career fell off hard, very similar to Jeff Gordon's, but that boom when he was good was some of the best car driving we've ever seen. And genuinely, we will never see another five-time champion in a row. Tony, I wouldn't put up there. No. Who was it? Pearson. Richard Pearson. Is it? It's not Richard Pearson, is it? I can't remember his first name, but Pearson would definitely be in my top 5. Mainly because of his winning percentage and the fact that he was able to rack up over 100 wins in the prime of Richard Petty's career. So, yeah, those would probably be, again, my top 5. I'd probably throw Gordon in there. But I think you gotta have the 3 7-time champions, especially with how dominant Jimmy was early on there. Tony Stewart, you could probably have the conversation about whether or not he's inside the top 10 still. I think Harvick and Kyle Busch both definitely added their names into the definitely added their names into the conversation over the last couple of years. Now, I think another championship or 2 would have helped, especially like Harvick retiring as a one-time champion. It certainly hurts his credibility towards getting put into that top 10 conversation. Darrell Waltrip definitely gets put into that top 10. Allison's, almost completely forgot about the Allisons and Yarborough. Cale Yarborough, you can't forget about them. I have respect for the drivers that, I never got to see most of the drivers that I put in the top 10 race at the top. I mean, by the time I was 1 year old, Jeff Gordon had even won his final championship, so never got to see Dale Sr. race, but I can still have tremendous respect for the numbers and what highlights I have gone back and seen. Can't imagine what it would have been like to actually watch some of them run. Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a different sport back then, but you can't say that 200 wins. I mean, again, you will never see 200 wins. Yeah, again, I said Dale Sr. up in that top 5. But also, again, Dale Sr. only managed 76 wins, and obviously, whenever you have a career cut short, it's hard to grade them as specifically. And I will say, I'm very happy McDowell's actually managed to make this a semi-boring start to the race, because I actually love this kind of conversation style thing. But yeah, when it comes to drivers inside that top 10 greatest drivers of all time, I'm definitely biased on me by to say Kyle Busch probably should be in that top 10, but I'd say that Kyle Busch is definitely entering his name in there. I'd like to see maybe a couple more Cup wins. If he wins another championship, I think it's absolutely solidified that Kyle Busch deserves to be in that top 10 greatest drivers of all time. I just don't know if we should anticipate seeing him in conversation for a championship here. I mean, Dale Sr. on the day of the 500 said that he wanted to race another 20 years, and he was coming off of a season where he managed multiple wins in 2000, so it's not like he was on a 10-year dry spell like Jimmy or Jeff Gordon were when they retired. But yeah, so here we go. Again, I'm still getting over a cold here, but again, I'm about 90%, so I'm good. Yeah, honestly, I'd love to see more triple header weekends, as we got another yellow flag. Okay, caution flag back out again here. Not sure what the cause of the caution is because we went to a commercial break right about the time the caution came out. He started 8 years later than Gordon. Are you talking about... who are you talking about for he started 8 years later than... Okay, I'm trying to keep up with your messages, Jay. But I was reading Caroline's message earlier about saying that how they wish that that Iowa brought the Truck Series, and I'd like to see the Truck Series have more races in general, because trucks having playoffs starting in July is ridiculous, but... Dale didn't start 8 years later. He started 8 years earlier, maybe, than Gordon. I'd have to look up the exact years that they raced, but... Yeah, Dale definitely started his career before Jeff Gordon did. Yeah, trying to keep up with all the messages. I mean, hey, trucks, especially on the, back when... Because I tend to remember the trucks racing at Iowa, and the races were not half bad, although with a freshly repaved... okay, he was 8 years older than Gordon when he started. Okay, that makes more sense, yeah. Gordon... Oh, and we got the 16 of Derek Kraus involved in whatever this caution is. We're coming back from commercial break. And, yeah, Derek Kraus and Cody Ware again? Are you kidding me? How many wrecks is Cody Ware going to cause today? But, yeah, again, Dale hadn't had a dry spell to end his career. Like, yeah, he was older. But, I mean, we saw guys like Mark Martin race into their 40s and 50s throughout that same era. I mean, would have to see how old Terry Labonte was when he retired, but drivers racing into their older years was not uncommon. Yeah, the further back you go. Well, I'm working with what I got for a setup. Alright, here we go. Lap 20, and we got pit stops happening. Derek Kraus is in the pits. Looks like only a portion of the field came to pit road. Keselowski's going to lead them off the pit lane, but yeah, I'm guessing this is basically the back half of the field decided to pit. Mike McDowell and Bell both opt to stay out. I'm curious to see if Mike McDowell might choose the inside this time around after Bell actually hung with him and actually forced him wide on corner exit of last time around. Alright, so let's see. What else we got? And we're back to commercial break. Great. Of course, we can't get more than 5 minutes of on-track action without a commercial break, although we are under caution, so I kind of understand it. But, yeah. So, let's see. Justin Haley up towards the top 10 there. Okay, where's Stenhouse? Let's see. He was probably one of these cars on pit road here. Oh, he's up to 15th, so maybe he opted to stay out. I'd have to see exactly where, because I know... Okay, where's... Okay, Justin Haley's up the field quite a bit. Where's the 6? Am I just blind and not seeing the number 6 car here? Oh, okay, it's cycling around. Oh, there's the 6, 24th place. So 24th on back came to pit road. And Stenhouse was a part of that, so it just hadn't fully cycled him around yet. Hey, 23XI, no worries. But, yeah, so Stenhouse is going to be on fresh tires here on the restart. Yeah, but yeah, he was part of that group that came to pit road from the back half of the field. Honestly, I mean, it makes sense. Your back half of the field's coming for fresh tires because so far they haven't been able to do much in terms of passing. More so because Cody Ware keeps finding people to crash with, as opposed to it being because of the track. Although I will say I'm still worried about the short track package potentially not having enough passing. But I think NASCAR knows that the short tracks need something, and I'm hoping that the soft tire from the All-Star race could maybe make a debut at maybe Fall Martinsville or something, although I would always be concerned about trying stuff in the playoffs. I mean, same thing with, like, if they bring this same tire that they had at Bristol in the spring. If they had brought that kind of tire to the fall race, yeah, Denny up to 5th place, not too bad. Again, a lot of guys just came to pit road, so about the front half of the field is going to be on slightly older tires here, although they've had 2 cautions, so they haven't worn the tires too badly. I'm pretty sure I have the same weather as the track. Alright. I must live pretty close to the track then. I mean, I've got sunny weather, but I've lived nowhere near virtually any of the tracks, so it doesn't really... my weather doesn't impact any of the racetracks. Although I will say I'm actually looking forward to getting to see Kyle Busch racing at one of my local tracks up this way in a couple of weeks. Actually, almost exactly 1 month from today, actually, I'll be getting to see Kyle Busch racing in person. And, oh, there we go. There's the Stenhouse machine they were just showing him. And here we go. Pace car's off. Mike McDowell chooses the outside lane again. I mean, it did work for him, but I don't know. I did not like the call to stay on that outside. I didn't mind it on the first time because it's like, okay, it had worked perfectly the first time around. But now we've got Christopher Bell once again able to hang on the inside with us. Going to be able to force us wide here off the corner, but we do get the run off the corner. As long as he doesn't force us into the fence, which he didn't, we're able to clear him down the straightaway, and now we can start to control both lanes. Again, it worked out, but man, I just don't like the idea of starting on that outside lane. Although I know the possibility for stuff going wrong is, yeah, certainly possible if you start on the inside lane too. And I guess if it isn't broke, don't fix it, right? Let's see, I just looked up, you're 2 hours from the track. Okay. I mean, that's not too far away when it comes to that. I mean, I'm like 3 hours from New Hampshire. And that's the closest track I've got. Here we go. Joey Logano trying to... Oh! Stenhouse ended up with a pit road penalty in that caution flag. So he'll be starting... So he started tail into the field. But, yeah, Logano trying to battle with Bowman and Bubba Wallace for the 9th position, those 3 drivers. Fighting it out for the 9th position. You've got ChaseElliott entering the mix as well, trying to fill the bottom lane. Logano goes up to the top to block and takes 9th place from Bubba. Alright, so there we go. Now we got the Hendrick Motorsports teammates, Elliott versus Bowman, battling it out. Alright, yeah. I mean, it always will depend on what roads you take if you're using the highway versus using back roads and stuff. So, if Mike McDowell's able to lead this first stage completely uncontested, at what point do we start talking about him as a potential race winner? I mean, I certainly wish I had him in my lineup with the way he's racing today. I'm not sure I would have put him in my lineup if I had actually had the time to set it. But, yeah, right now, though, Eric Jones actually making his way up through the field. That's not too bad. He's up to 15th. After he and his teammate both started pretty poorly, they managed to make their way up there. Stenhouse and Keselowski are both much further back than they restarted. I would be surprised to leave the... I would be surprised to leave the check with. I've got no idea what you're trying to say there, 23XI. But, here we go. Let's see. Oh, yeah, we got the overstock cars racing against each other. Oh, you'd be surprised if Nemechek won. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't expect it, especially since he was part of the first caution flag of the day. I would not have picked him as the driver of the day to be the winner. Cody Ware is now down one lap, but that's not going to mean much because he'll go and find someone else to crash. But, again, right now they've gotten just back into a single file line. David Pearson, that was who I was trying to think of earlier when I was talking about drivers who I would consider putting in that top 5 or top 10 greatest drivers of all time. And again, I think a lot of my list would come down to whether we're talking about most talented versus if we're talking about the greatness. Because again, when I think of greatness, I think of, okay, who did something that we are never going to see again. And realistically, I think over 100 wins, I don't think we're going to see again. And I don't think we're going to see 5 championships in a row or 7 championships overall again anytime soon. So I would say that the 7-time champions and the 2 drivers over 100 wins definitely get put up at the top of the tier list. At least for my personal ranking. Again, Jeff Gordon, close to 100 wins. He got, I think, 94 was the final count for Jeff Gordon. Certainly, again, I would probably have him 5th on that list. And that's no disrespect there. I think he was a very talented race car driver. But he didn't really do anything that the other 4 above him didn't do. Outside of, I guess, if you want to count race closer to the modern era versus David Pearson and Richard Petty, who both raced in a much older era with more races in a season. But, yeah. Again, right now they've just kind of gotten into the single file line and they're just kind of running around here. Kind of want to know where the betting line is on Mike McDowell at this point, because there's got to be at least some sort of line that says Mike McDowell's doing pretty well. And, yeah, let's go. And we're going to commercial break. If Mike McDowell leads this entire first stage, let's go. So here we go, 12 laps to go in this stage. Again, William Byron being the only Hendrick driver really to make a ton of noise here, although again we did have Chase Elliott versus Alex Bowman earlier battling out for like 11th or 12th place. Alright, here we go. Got that set up there. We got 11 laps, now 10 laps to go. 10 to go here. Yeah, so Chase Elliott is up to the 10th position here. Larson actually up to 12th, not bad. All 4 Hendrick cars up inside the top 13, that's pretty good. But again, like right now we just kind of are settling into lockstep as many would put it here. Just everybody just kind of falling into line and are just going to hang out here. No one... actually, Blaney looking for a little bit of a challenge here, potentially trying to challenge Bell, but neither one have really shown a whole lot of urgency to try and pressure or rush one of these moves. So there we go. And here we go. They've got KyleLarson going right on by Bubba Wallace for the 11th position. So making up another spot there. Bubba Wallace and the Toyotas look to be fading a little bit after qualifying much better. The gap between Blaney and Cindric, though, is definitely starting to form. And I think that's starting to show that maybe Cindric was a bit more of a pretender than we thought in qualifying. And so far, at least, I would say that Michael McDowell, he's shown to be a legit contender here. We got 8 laps to go in the stage, and Mike McDowell has still led every single lap. Although, here we go, but Christopher Bell to the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to try and take that one from him, but Mike McDowell, just the strength of the car off the corner, it's proving to be useful enough right now. He's able to hold off the 20 of Christopher Bell. Problem is that 12 is getting right up on their rear bumpers too, and the 12... Now, McDowell's best case scenario here would be to get the 20 and the 12 battling it out with each other here, and potentially dragging each other further back. But right now, Bell and Blaney are both looking like they're ready to try and pounce on Michael McDowell for this stage finish. They were okay with sitting behind him for most of the stage, but now that the points are about to get paid, they want the playoff point, especially Bell, who, once you win a race, it's like, you really don't need anything other than playoff points at this point. But here you go. 2 top 10s in the last 3 races for McDowell. 16th place last week at Charlotte, after Charlotte was cut short. I mean, hey, you never know. That could have ended up being another top 10. And once again, Michael McDowell powers back ahead at the line. Able to lead at the stripe, but here comes Christopher Bell. He's got the power. He's going to force him wide here. And this is the thing I did not like about the potential of ending up on the outside. Although, granted, this didn't happen until long into the run. And, McDowell gives a little bit of shot to Christopher Bell down the back straightaway here. And, let's see. Through 3 and 4, can Mike McDowell off the corner potentially have that same massive power? No, it's going to be Christopher Bell's going to clear, and finally we're going to have a lead change for the first time today. Christopher Bell leads the race over Mike McDowell here. Again, right now at this point, Mike McDowell has kind of said that he is in must-win mode. To make the playoffs, I don't necessarily agree. I think he could still point his way to the playoffs, especially depending on what what NASCAR decides to do with Kyle Larson's playoff waiver. Because if Larson is disallowed from the playoffs, 1, I think that'd be one of the stupidest moves NASCAR could make. But also, 2, that would open up another spot for a driver on points, and Mike McDowell's not that far off, and if he just strings together a couple good finishes in a row, potentially a top 5 here or there, he could be right in contention to point his way into the playoffs. But, as I say, the bigger thing is going to be not losing out on too many stage points, which means don't wreck yourself trying to go for the stage win here. Let's settle into line. We'll accept 2nd or 3rd here. But best case, worst case scenario right now, we end up 3rd in the stage, which is still leagues better than, again, where we normally have been on these intermediate and short tracks as of lately. Although, again, 2 top 10s on 1.5 miles. At least I think they were 1.5 miles that we got them on. Darlington's not really 1.5 miles, actually, now that I think about it, because Darlington was one of those 2 races. But then Kansas is definitely 1.5 miles as we take the white flag here in stage number 1. And let's see. What does Ryan Blaney do to try and get the lead here? And what happens with Christopher Bell? Is he going to be able to hold off? Is he going to have something go wrong? Should be nice and easy till the end of the stage. He's got no pressure from behind. Meanwhile, McDowell and Blaney are really close and close enough that potentially something could happen there. Here we go, off the final corner, and it's going to be Christopher Bell winning stage number 1 over Michael McDowell, Ryan Blaney, Austin Cindric. Then you had Denny Hamlin, William Byron. Gibbs getting the top 10. Reddick score some points. Logano and Elliott, the last drivers, earning some points. Alright, here we go. Alright, here we go. Alright, so there we go. We're just chilling out. Hopefully everybody's having a good time. And again, we're having KyleLarson ended up being the first driver to miss out on points, so alright, let's see. Alright, so we have officially had we've had one lead change between two different leaders, and we're now at caution number 3 for the stage finish. 2 cautions for cause, and curious to see if Christopher Bell gives Michael McDowell the outside line, or if Bell opts to choose the outside line here, assuming that the two end up winning the race off pit road, because definitely going to be coming down pit road as we've got a 95 lap stage here. 95 laps is a long way to go, but yeah, and that I think actually adds to the question mark I have of the Brad Keselowski strategy, because you originally, when he made that strategy, I was assuming that the next stage was like 50, maybe 60 or 70 laps at most, and maybe you then can pit and stay out with the slightly older tires, cycle to the front. But with 95 laps, you're gonna have to come and get another set of tires. I mean, you'll have a short lap scuff to put on later in the race, but I don't think anyone's hoping to end up resorting to scuffed tires. pit road should be open this time. Let's see, the Elliott pit box is getting ready. And yep, here they come, and that's pretty much everybody. Not really seeing anybody specifically staying out. There's no one that I recognize as a clear threat that would actually choose to stay out versus might just choose to pit next time around when it's a less crowded pit box. And here we go. Mike McDowell and Denny Hamlin coming into the last two pit boxes here. Again, Mike McDowell, by virtue of the pole position, got the #1 pit box selection. And he could very well... Are you kidding me? We're going to lose 4 or 5 spots on pit road? Okay, couple of 2-tire calls. Alright, we only lost 2 spots, and they were both the drivers who took 2 tires. That's not as bad as I thought, and that explains how Keselowski's plan was to gain some track position there, was to go 2 tires on this call after the earlier pit stop for fresh tires midway through the stage. Because they clearly didn't make up the ground they were hoping to on the restart with the fresh tires, because they had plenty of laps and they just didn't really make much of an impact or noise here. So, yep, Mike McDowell is going to be 4th place here on the restart, which means we will not have a very good pit where we won't get a whole lot of selection on the racetrack. We'll probably either have to choose outside second lane or inside second lane. Whichever one doesn't get taken by Christopher Bell, assuming that the 2 guys on 2 tires each take a front row spot. Alright, here we go. Alright, well, we're at commercial break. I'm going to use the bathroom and I will be right back, guys. Alright, here we go. We're back and ready for some fun. Alright, let's see. Alright, so it looks like Michael McDowell's going to be starting 10th. So those guys that I saw stay out are actually planning on staying out. I mean, hey, Front Row Motorsports teammate Todd Gilliland starting up there. Kyle Busch. I just want to know what the strategy is there. Stenhouse is up there. Again, I like the drivers involved in the strategy. I just don't have any clue or confidence in what this strategy is for these 6 drivers who decided not to pit. If more of them were on it, maybe I'd be more receptive to, yeah, this could be something. And here we go. They're showing the race off pit road here. They're showing Christopher Bell's pit stop. It was a nice, clean pit stop for Christopher Bell. He manages to get on and off pit road before us. Well, that was just our pit crew being bad, but no, that was a couple of 2-tire stops. Just so I guess it just goes to show I'm just that used to a terrible pit crew for Michael McDowell, which isn't exactly an unwarranted complaint. Alright, so here we go. Yep, Ty Gilliland opts to stay out here, and it's going to be Gilliland, Kyle Busch front row, Dylan Barry second row. And, alright, we get to start inside fifth row. Okay. So the 6 drivers who stay out, they basically split inside and outside. Then the 2 drivers on 2 tires both opt to start in the outside lane. Not sure what the thought process there is. And then you got Christopher Bell and Michael McDowell, who both went inside 4th row and inside 5th row, respectively. Briscoe and Cindric, row 6. Row 7 is Hamlin on the inside, Blaney on the outside. Gibbs and Keselowski, row 8. Row 9 is Logano and Elliott, and Justin Haley and Bubba Wallace in row 10. There we go. Alright, so here we go. And lights are off on the pace car. We are going to be getting ready to go back racing here. Let's see how it goes. Alright, there we go. We're back to racing, and Kyle Busch absolutely takes off. There we go. That's the kind of restart I've been looking for. And Michael McDowell, middle of 4 wide. Are you kidding me? And Cindric making a big move down to the bottom of the racetrack, but we get taken 4 wide. Are you kidding me? Alright, Michael McDowell, he's going to try and find a spot in line here, and we'll just hope that it's not terrible. Alright, here we go. Let's see. So again, Kyle Busch, Todd Gilliland, 1-2. I actually quite like that setup for Kyle Busch. Because I think Kyle Busch can pull away, and ooh, Todd Gilliland gets taken on the outside there and just drops way back here. But that puts now Kyle Busch having his teammate behind him. Oh, Gilliland's on older tires. Gilliland hasn't pit yet at all. Or no, he pit under the very first yellow. He pit back when the first Cody Ware caution happened. But, yeah, here we go. Let's see. Mike McDowell has settled back in 13th place. But, Kyle Busch up to the top of the board with a teammate behind him. I mean, that is not a bad combination of situations to have, but again, I kind of was hoping that maybe Mike McDowell might just be able to control the whole race. As ludicrous as it might have sounded. Alright, so here we go. Let's see. Yep, Briscoe fighting with Austin Cindric here, battling it out for, what is that, the 10th position? Yep, 10th. On track there. Christopher Bell has managed to hang on to 5th. Meanwhile, Mike McDowell, after getting taken 4 wide, dropped all the way to 13th, now 14th as Hamlin goes around him. Stenhouse and, Christopher Bell jumps Stenhouse there for 4th. Stenhouse, though, hanging out inside the top 5. And Kyle Busch in the good old Rebel Bourbon car just drives away from the field. I'll say, that Austin Dillon scheme is not what I was anticipating Austin Dillon racing today. Alright, so here we go. Let's see. So yeah, this is going on. This is going to be Kyle Busch's longest winless streak of his career, or second longest winless streak of his career if he doesn't win it today. Because third longest, because he had that win streak between the Indianapolis, the Brickyard 400 in 2016, and then he didn't win again until Pocono 1 week later. So it was a full 36 races without a win. Alright, so here we go, let's see. So, again, Christopher Bell continuing to move his way up. He's up to 3rd here as he battles with Barry. So, battling it out with Josh Berry here for the 3rd position for Bell. And then that will put him right on Dillon's back bumper, and then it's just Dillon and Kyle Busch at the front. And, no idea. Oh, there's Gillen. Okay, Gillen's made it to 58. I'm curious to see how many laps Gillen goes without pitting, because he's had 2 cautions, theoretically, to save some fuel, so maybe he's going to be a little bit better than the average. But if we knew Gillen to maybe find where drivers' quote-unquote outer limits of fuel mileage would be already, then that will make the strategy easier to understand late in the race when we potentially are already done pit stops for the day, or if we're looking at it, we'd be looking at it only for tires. But there we go. Christopher Bell makes the move, and he is now past Austin Dillon, and now it's just Kyle Busch out ahead of the field here. Bell's been doing a really good job of actually running through the field here. He hasn't been running people over. He's been just very calmly and assertively just moving his way through the field. Alright, so there we go. Let's see. So we're now up to 3 lead changes. It'll probably be 4 here before too long, as Christopher Bell, having passed Dillon, will now likely run down Kyle Busch considering the fresher tires. Alright, so they go to commercial break, and we've got ourselves a bit of time. So, here we go, let's see. Right now, we're just kind of waiting to see what's going to end up happening here. Kyle Busch versus Christopher Bell. Bell's running him down here. It's down to only 0.3 of a second between the two. And I would not be shocked if that number continues to shrink more and more here. let's see. Yeah, there really is just not much going on. It's very hard. Okay, Christopher Bell now only 1/10 of a second behind Kyle Busch. He's pretty much that rear bumper. So wait and see what Kyle Busch does here, but he's got a decent lead outside of that. So, I don't know what Kyle's plan is here, but he could just choose to relax in second place for a while. And here we go, let's see. Todd Gilliland, let's keep an eye on him, because again, he could be a potential precursor for how far he can make it on fuel. So he's made it from lap 4 to lap. So he's made it 64 laps since last pit. Alright, let's see. Let's see. So if you make it 64 laps on fuel, that means you'd have to make your last pit stop at 176 to be able to make it. So the first stage was 45, and let's say we can make it the whole second stage, although I think it's unlikely, of 95. That means that we'd be about 30 laps. So you basically want to pit at the end of this second stage, run about 40, 50 laps, and then pit, and that would pretty much split your race in half. Because the final stage is 100 laps. Then you want to run about 40 to 50 laps on the fuel and tires from the pit stop for the stage 2 caution. Again, depending on how the wear and stuff are looking, but I would anticipate seeing a 2-stop strategy at least attempted by some of these drivers. It may not end up working. Here we go. Christopher Bell back to the point, and he has gotten ahead of Kyle Busch, but Busch still holds a 1-second lead over Dillon. Alright, let's see. And again, you also have to look at Todd Gilliland having lost a ton of spots right now because he's on the older tires, making it harder and harder to see a ton of benefits. But I do think in the end, pitting less will be how you win this race. I don't think you win this race by making an extra pit stop, trying to make a 3-stop strategy out of the final stage. Again, barring the fuel not actually lasting even 50 laps, but again, so far we've seen from Gilliland that they're able to make it well over 60 laps on a tank of fuel. Alright, let's see again. Laps since last pit. Christopher Bell almost half the laps on his tires compared to everybody else around him. ChaseElliott and Truex, the other two drivers with Alright, here we go. Let's see. Alright, let's see again. Right now we're just kind of keeping an eye on this one. Let's see. What's chat saying? Not much. Okay. So yeah, again, just kind of breaking down the strategy, trying to figure out exactly what angles some of these drivers might be coming from here. And I'm confused on exactly the strategy here. Again, I think Bell and Truex have the right idea, and I think Kyle Busch and Dillon aren't too far off base with their strategy. So we have now gone 30 laps into this stage. We got about 64 to go here. Theoretically, you could pit now and absolutely try and drive your way to the front if you think that you can do that. Alright, let's see again. Right now we're just working our way through this one. Michael McDowell versus Logano battling it out for 16th right now. Further on back in the field. That's a fun one. So, Stenhouse hanging on to it to 7th place. Alright, let's see again. Right now, again, just Christopher Bell just running away from this race. If you guys have other topics you want me to talk about, like the whole ranking drivers, we can go ahead and gladly go ahead and pull that up. In fact, I could actually go ahead and see if I can pull up. Alright, let's see. Cindric, let's say, was Cindric, he was one of the ones on 4 tires, right? Or, yeah, it was Preece and who else on 2 tires? It was Preece and Briscoe that came up on 2 tires? Seriously, cannot remember who else it was that jumped us on the 2 tires here. Alright, there we go. Got that set up for later. And, oh, we go to a commercial break. Okay. Commercial break and not much to really cover because not much is happening. Bell got the lead and he's just going to walk away to this one. Go ahead and at least make sure I have the best possible result, even though I certainly could have had better options if I had actually been able to make my picks. Alright, let's see. Alright, here we go. Let's see. Again, we're just chilling here. It's been a really just slow race. Nobody's really making many passing attempts. A lot of different strategies are getting set up, and I like a good strategy race as much as the next guy, but it's hard to really get excited when the strategy race starts on like lap 3, which means everybody's kind of slowly playing this fuel game to potentially try and make it to a number. Let's see. Has Todd Gilliland ended up coming into pit road? No, he is still out there. He has made it now nearly 80 laps on a tank of fuel. So I'm starting to think 95 laps on a tank is possible. And the question being, can you make it the full 100 and not have to make a green flag stop ever here? If he wins, I'll let you have it and enjoy his only winning for the season. Are you talking Kyle Busch? Because Kyle Busch is only looked strong when you were comparing him to the other drivers on equal tires. The second you had Christopher Bell or one of the other drivers on good tires actually get up there, he was out to lunch. Same thing with Mike McDowell, honestly. Once he lost the clean air, he was shuffled back, and I have no confidence that he'll get shuffled back to the front, considering he's not even the top driver on fresh tires right now. I mean, at this point, McDowell's going to be just he's probably just going to be stationary inside the top 15, maybe top 10 by the end of the race. And the final NASCAR on Fox race next week at Sonoma. Then we go back over to NBC for the final year of this current TV package split where we only have Fox and NBC to deal with. Next year we'll have HBO Max, TNT, and Amazon all joining into that chaotic fray. So Todd Gilliland has made it 82 laps on a tank of fuel. I mean, again, I want to know how far he's gone at this point. And how aggressive he's having to be to get there. Because if we can make it 80 to 90 laps on a tank of fuel, I mean, I'm going to say, that's going to make the final stage somewhat interesting. Because then you potentially try and pit as early as humanly possible to top off. And then you just are good to the checkers. While everybody else is still getting up to speed. Alright, so here we go. So you got Cindric versus Stenhouse here fighting their way up. But again, neither one of these drivers are what I would consider a strong choice right now. But yeah, Sonoma next week definitely will be a spot where Mike McDowell, maybe Chris Buescher could contend for potentially one of those two getting their first win of the season. Here we go. Austin Dillon going for the pass on his teammate of Kyle Busch here. Austin Dillon around the top and makes it work. Wow. Alright, here we go. And say, this top 20 is just kind of... It's shuffled up chaos, but again, it just kind of feels weird because it's like, you know that like half of these drivers are only up here because of the fuel strategy. Like right now, Dillon, Busch, Barry, none of those drivers, Stenhouse even, none of those drivers are up here on true merit. Although they've actually done an okay job of holding their spots. I mean, I guess at this point, the question is... And yep, here we go. Here comes Dillon and Kyle Busch for green flag stops. So I guess they're trying to pit in the middle of the stage. Alright, let's see. Again, right now... They're both getting their fuel in service here, and they're going to lose at least one lap. I just don't know how confident I would be in the Kyle Busch car to make the comeback. Alright, here comes Josh Berry into the pits. He's going to get his pit stop in. Derek Kraus, Cody Ware both in the pits. Looks like Todd Gilliland also opted to come to pit road. So, I don't know what the official call is, but it seems like you can make it a decent chunk of the way into the race. close to 90 laps. Question is, I guess, does anybody try and go the full 95 today for stage 2, especially where you had some caution laps? I mean, I'd be curious to see if maybe a Christopher Bell or maybe a Truex tries to save all the way to 200 or all the way to 95 here. Alright, so here we go. Let's see. And we got a penalty on Josh Berry. Josh Berry with a penalty on his pit stop, and that is going to really bury Josh Berry's shot at the win here. Alright, here we go. Let's see. So Larson comes to pit road. Again, just kind of everybody cycling through. Hamlin comes down pit road. Alright, let's see. So, yep, too fast exiting pit road for Barry. And here we go. Christopher Bell comes down pit road along with DennyHamlin. Martin Truex Jr. stays on the track and assumes the lead. Alright, so here we go, and here comes Martin Truex Jr. into the pits. ChaseElliott coming down pit road as well from the second position. And it looks like Cindric and Blaney are gonna start and take the lead, and that's gonna be another leader. And here we go, let's see. Alright, so here we go. Alright, there we go. Michael McDowell back up into the top 10 now that all the pit stops are occurring. Like half the field into the pits, and now you've got Michael McDowell up in the top 10 again. All three Penske cars up in the top 10. Ty Gibbs comes to pit road. So, everybody else on track pretty much, aside from the guys who have cycled through currently on pit road. Speaking of which, Byron currently on pit road, Bubba Wall's on pit road. Most of the rest of the field has been on his pit about 50 laps ago at the end of the stage. Again, at this point, the question being, could it be possible that somebody goes all the way? Austin Cindric's last three finishes were 37th at Kansas, and then a pair of 20th place finishes at Darlington and the Coke 600. Let's see. But, yeah, the first Chevrolet on the field is currently all the way in 7th. Also, it looks like Michael McDowell came to pit road. Alright, let's see. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think the answer should be 9 to the dashboard question. Alright, guess the answer is 8 because 9 is not an option on the multiple choice, so there we go. Got more green flag stops just kind of cycling through, but we're currently at commercial break, so we can't even see them. Alright. Alright, so there we go. Alright, let's see what games are going on right now. Let's see. Let's see. Next NBA game is not until Thursday. Let's check NHL. Alright, there's a game today between the Dallas Stars and the Edmonton Oilers. I feel like Dallas is going to win this one. And oh, no! Martin Truex Jr. coming back to pit road with a flat tire of some sort. It's not good. No yellow flag, though, which is really surprising there. But, yeah, the Truex fans definitely not happy about that one. And I am happy because that means I get to move him to my garage and feel very safe about the pick. Because, one, even if he does start to recover, he's certainly missing out on stage points. And he missed out on stage points the last time around, which means worst case, best case scenario, he gets 40 points. And worst case scenario, he ends up with another flat tire and ends up out the race and gets 1 point. Alright. Alright, Alright, so the Edmonton Oilers lead. If the Oilers win, the series is over on that one. Alright, let's see. What about USFL standings? And oh, wow, we got ourselves a caution flag as Josh Berry has come to a stop in the middle of the corner. Did he blow a tire, or do we got another issue? He's got some kind of issue, and he's dropped the window net. He will be out of the race. And here we go. Let's see. The drivers who have stayed out thus far. You've got Cindric, Blaney, Keselowski, Logano. So all three Penske cars get top 5 track position here. Chase Briscoe. Alright, let's see. Okay, so they already know which 4 teams are going to the playoffs for the UFL. Is the UFL's regular season already over? Because if so, oh wait, I'm stupid. I typed USFL. It's UFL. Is this year's thing. Alright, here we go. UFL. As we're pacing under caution, you're not missing anything. Christopher Bell in 7th is the highest of any of the drivers who have already pit. There we go. So yeah, the Birmingham Stallions at 9-1 are leading that. Meanwhile, the next best teams are Panthers, Battlehawks, and San Antonio Brahmas, all at 7-3 records. We got the DC Defenders, Arlington Renegades. I will say, at least obviously the Birmingham Stallions are the top team in the league, it looks like, for the UFL, but the XFL teams, at least they are holding their own better, as opposed to the Roughnecks and the Showboats, which are both 1-win teams in the USFL division. So, again, we're waiting on pit road to be open here to see if anybody's going to be coming down pit road. Alright, let's see. So I guess the UFL is getting ready for their playoffs. Because, yeah, all the stuff I'm seeing is all showing them with clinch playoff spots for St. Louis, San Antonio, Michigan, and the Stallions. No real surprise, I mean, with how dominant the teams are. And here we go. Pit road's open, and we're going to see what they got. Keselowski, Briscoe with some good stops. Kyle Busch out first, though. Was that a 2-tire stop for Kyle Busch, or what? Kyle Busch, first one off the pit road. He was... Alright, here we go. So, Bell stays out as the 7th place driver, so any drivers behind him will not be eligible to wave around. Alright, there we go. Alright, here we go. Another commercial break here while we're under caution, so not much. I'm gonna say, if you guys again have any topics you guys want to hear me talk about, let me know so I'm not just rambling about stuff you guys don't care about. Normally end up going through sports, but most of the sports are getting close to the end. I mean, NBA Finals start next week. You've got Dallas Mavericks versus the Boston Celtics. I'm curious to see if my Celtics can go out there and get that win. NFL's in the dead part of the offseason with next to no news. Alright, it is showing Stenhouse as the leader. I'm hoping that's true, but we'll have to wait and see. Again, Sonoma next week. Let's see. I'm sure trucks are off next week. Yep, trucks are off till the end. They literally don't race again till the end of June. But Xfinity races on Saturday at 8 p.m.? Are you kidding me? Why are they starting the race so late on a Saturday? I mean, especially at a track without lights. That seems... I know it's West Coast, so it's probably only like 5 p.m. local time. Alright, so Stenhouse has cycled further back. He's 18th. Michael McDowell still the most laps led on the day so far, although Bell is inching closer and closer to that as he leads his 35th lap of the day. But Kyle Busch, the first car on tire, is going to be an interesting one to see. Starting in the 4th position, we'll have to wait and see where they choose. So let's see. Busch, Cindric, Keselowski, Blaney, Logano, Hocevar, and Briscoe, the first several guys on fresh tires. Gonna be curious to see how they do. Michael McDowell back in 26th place. Come on, man. This was supposed to be our race to go and show that, hey, we are not the mediocre team that everybody, or we're not the mediocre driver everybody thinks we are. Or in some cases, less than mediocre that some people think McDowell is. Granted, nobody should think that, that McDowell is mediocre at this point now that he's gone and won 3 poles this year, including a non-super speedway. Although I think winning a pole at a super speedway is equally impressive. Chase Elliott, the best average finish of the season. Only one win, though, hence why he's, I believe he's third in points. Well, he's fourth in points. Okay, so he's fourth in points, best average finish, but the lack of wins, and in particular, I think the lack of stage wins. Yeah, he's only got the one stage win versus guys like KyleLarson with 7 stage wins, DennyHamlin with 3. Obviously, Hamlin having 3 wins as well. I'm not really sure how Truex is up there. He must just have a lot of good second and third place finishes in stages and stuff, because he only has 2 stage wins, yet and no race wins, yet he's ahead of Larson, who's got 2 race wins and 7 stages. Although, obviously, Larson did just forfeit a ton of points by not racing the Coke 600, so... Here we go. 22 laps left in stage number 2, and green, green, green. Green flag's out, and time to see if Christopher Bell can lead the remainder of the stage. Alright, so there we go. Christopher Bell is able to clear on the outside. Kyle Busch up to third here. He's going to be trying to go for Chase Elliott in the second position next. KyleLarson versus Austin Cindric is a matchup I did not expect to see today. But Larson losing a spot there to Cindric for 4th. And say Cindric on the fresher tires. Those 3 guys trying to stay out, maybe trying to save a lap, or trying to save a set of tires. Maybe I'm not really sure as to what the strategy was. Alright, so we got, 32 cars on lead lap, so still a long way to go, but these drivers, they got a shot here. Let's see. Again, right now, Elliott's holding off Kyle Busch here for Christopher Bell. Okay, so Kyle Busch is only on right side tires. He's only on 2. So him not passing everybody right away is actually kind of expected here. Although we know that 2 tires can still hold up pretty well. Alright, here we go. Let's see. Cindric on 4 tires, though. He's going to try and make something happen here. And there are a lot of drivers on 4 tires here. Actually, let's see. Who all had to wave around so they couldn't pit? Looks like Ty Gibbs, William Byron, and so about the 18th on back were not able to pit. Under that last caution, they had to stay out and wave around, aside from Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in 22nd. Seems to be the only exception to that. Alright, going side by side with 16 laps to go. Yay. again, like, Mike McDowell being stuck in, like, in the late 20s is really just disappointing. And here we go. Blaney going to make the pass on Kyle Busch. Going to try and take that 4th spot from him. Honestly, again, at this point, as long as we don't lose out too many spots here by the checkered flag, I'll be okay with a 5th or 6th place finish here for Kyle Busch on the stage. Because as long as we're in that group and we can pit, potentially and get 4 tires leveled up at the caution flag when everybody potentially comes, although I think some of these guys who just pit may stay out to try and flip track position. Let's see. They're showing off the UFL. Okay, they got a game between the Houston Roughnecks and the Showboats tonight. I can't imagine just how bad that game is going to be tonight between those two. Now they got the Fox radio thing, so they're going to be going ahead and showing all the radio stuff, talking about a lot of people talking about brake fans, and I mean a lot of people talking about brake fans and brake bias. Definitely seems to be the word of the day. But here we go. Cindric going and making the pass here on Elliott. Is Cindric about to win this stage? You know, Kyle Busch battling it out with Logano here for the 5th position. And Busch runs really wide. That's going to allow Logano to get by, but he's going to try and follow into this hole so that maybe Keselowski won't get by. That's good. Again, it's just a matter of managing the race that you got here. And we're still running up the track. Why are we running up the track? That's just going to allow Keselowski to our inside here. I mean, I guess we got lucky there that he didn't, but he closed in on us. Like, we should be running in the inside line, make him take the long way to try and make a move around us. Alright, so here we go. Hocevar is going to potentially get some points here as he's up inside the top 10 for the stage finish. Zane Smith even hanging on for a decent stage. I mean, it won't matter because he's not going to be a top 10 at the end of the stage, but speaking of guys who might not be top 10 at the end of the stage, Kyle Busch might not end up top 10 at the end of the stage. Yeah, you should, but I'm starting to question the guarantee there that he will be a top 10 driver at the end of the stage. Alright, Cindric now has to run down almost 3 seconds on Bell. That is going to be a long run to try and make that happen. Otherwise, I think Bell wins this stage pretty handily. Alright, let's see. Alright, there we go. Blaney moves up to 3rd. So now the two of them can work together to try and run down Bell, which they have already run him down by a second. Now only 3 seconds between the two of them. So 3 seconds between Cindric and Bell. Now it's going to be a question of how do they make the rest of this work here. Because there's a long way to make... Again, to run down 3 full seconds is not going to be an easy one. So here we go. Let's see. Alright, let's see. So, 4 laps to go, and Cindric's actually losing time to Bell. Yeah, there's no way of it. So, Bell's got the stage win in hand. I mean, unless he literally blows a tire or something, he's not going to get caught. The Penske cars just don't have enough to run down 3 full seconds. I think they somewhat know that at this point. And they're basically just trying to run good enough to try and outrun the Elliott train behind them. Although, behind Elliott's another Penske car. So we're going to have 3 Penske cars in the top 5 at the end of this stage, it looks like. There we go. Larson taking the fight to Kyle Busch, even though Larson's on the older tires compared to Kyle Busch. Well, older right side tires. Kyle Busch and Larson are actually on the same left side tires, roughly. So, kind of impressed to see Larson actually being able to take that fight to Kyle Busch. And now we got the Logano looking the inside on the 9, but not able to actually make anything happen here. And again, those other 2 Fords here, as we got 2 laps to go. It's going to be 1 to go at the line this time. What's it going to be? Can Elliott hold on to whatever spot this is? And the 2 Fords now going to end up fighting with each other for the spot and end up costing them both a shot to try and get by Elliott. And speaking of costing them both a shot, KyleLarson takes out Kyle Busch. No! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? We were having a good, solid day with a good shot to gain it, and yellow flag comes out, and Christopher Bell will cross the flag under there. Alright, so there we go. Yeah, and KyleLarson just made a mistake and cleaned us out. So, yeah, Larson just dives it in there, gets loose, and then just, wipes the 8 was a complete innocent bystander there, from what I can see. I mean, maybe I could use a helicopter shot here, NASCAR. Get a view from the sky, but I mean, that might as well just end both Kyle's days right there. And we got 100 laps to go. Alright. Another caution flag, another commercial break for the stage end. So, Christopher Bell, Cindric, Blaney, ChaseElliott, Logano, and end up being the top 5. Keselowski, Briscoe, Hocevar, Austin Dillon, and DennyHamlin, the other drivers earning points. Harrison Burton, despite his best efforts and an insane amount of luck, comes up 1 spot shy of some points. Oh, man. So, yep, Harrison Burton once again misses out on points. Alright, and I'm going to go use the bathroom, and I will be right back, guys. Alright. There we go. And we are back and ready for the run to the checkers. 100 laps. And now that pretty much every hope and dream I've had has now been crushed because McDowell's out the mix and Kyle Busch is out of the race. Or at least out of any reasonable chance to try and win this race. I don't know. I haven't seen it. Okay, no, he is still in the thing. Oh, he has taken his car to the garage after this? Great. So, yeah, if his car is, okay, so, yeah, that was a replay, so. Yep, so his car is in the garage. Kyle Busch is out of the race. Michael McDowell is 26th place here. Alright, let's see. What's Kyle Busch going to end up doing with KyleLarson here? Or is Larson not done? And that's going to force Kyle Busch to have to settle for stewing. Alright, here we go. This is the camera angle I think I wanted. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see any reason why Larson came and hit us in the first place, and then he just goes into the bottom and we become an innocent bystander or whatever he was doing. Okay, so I guess Kyle Busch made a little bit of a crowded Larson ever so slightly down the straightaway, and then KyleLarson turned up into us as we were going into the corner, and then he lost control of his car entering the corner. Best case scenario I can see here. Let's see what Alright, so here we go. Under commercial break yet again. Alright, let's see. But yeah, I just went and said, I think, imagine if the WWE invites both Kyles on to settle the match in an actual ring. Well, there we go. Well, that makes our winless streak now a full year. And now we look forward to what tracks we could potentially win at. And, I mean, realistically, until Indianapolis, I don't think Kyle Busch really has a winnable track left. Alright, let's see. Iowa, maybe, depending on how that new repave section works. But I could see Iowa being a good style track for him, maybe. New Hampshire, probably not. More of a Toyota type tracks. Nashville, usually more of a Chevy and Stewart Haas type race. Chicago, who knows? And then, yeah, Pocono and Indy in July would realistically be the next good chance to see a Kyle Busch win. For those of us who are Kyle Busch fans. Kind of unfortunate that we have to wait that long before the next chance for a real winnable car for Kyle. Now, obviously, he could surprise at road courses. He could go and win Sonoma like he did in 2015 to lock himself into the playoffs. But, yeah, again, I'm not anticipating it. Alright, here we go. Tying to Kyle Busch. Here we go. Let's see. So, a little bit of contact off of turn 4 there. Yeah, so talking about the little bit of contact where, again, Busch does crowd Larson just a tad. Actually, Larson made the first contact, then Kyle crowds him a little bit down the straightaway. Then Larson went and turned back up into him. Alright, let's see. Gradually... Alright, there we go. And now they got the credit ones to watch. I guess I'll go with my podcast pick from the Lap Down podcast. I wasn't actually on it this past week, but yeah, Chase Briscoe was my podcast pick, so I'm going to go ahead and stick with Briscoe. He's 4th place right now. He's been quietly inside the top 10 all day. I'll take him. And looks like Mike Joy also takes Briscoe. Alright, cool. Cool. Alright, so it looks like outside lane is actually the preferred line here. But, yeah, we're going to be having Blaney Cindric on the front row. Logano chooses the outside of row 2 here as we go green flags out, and we are back to racing. And everybody's trying to fan out 3-4 wide into the corners, and yep, there goes Corey LaJoie. 4 wide on the bottom for Corey LaJoie. And that is not going to work out for pretty much anybody. Keselowski even lower than that off the corner, trying to maybe make it even 5 wide there. As Corey falls further back, and ultimately it settles itself down to 3 wide. You've got Bell trying to make his way forward, passing Gregson there, who was part of that 4 wide with LaJoie. You also got Zane Smith in the mix here. You got the 21 car of Harrison Burton in the mix. Basically, a bunch of drivers that I don't know if they're going to be in those same cars next year. And then there we go. The 9 car tries to stuff it up the middle of 3 wide, but trying to stuff it up the middle usually doesn't work. And ultimately, the hole ended up closing up before you got in there. And ooh, we got the 38 with a check up there of some kind. Not exactly great for the 38 of Gilliland to see a check up there. Again, that doesn't really inspire a ton of confidence in your with the rest of the drivers in you. Although, unlike at a super speedway race, it's not like they have to trust that you're a good enough car to be worth pushing. You just got to be in their way. John, you mentioned this is the Bomberito car this week. Okay. And, yeah, right now the 34 is still outside the top 30. He's in 31st place right now. 32 cars on the lead lap, and Mike McDowell is second to last. I mean, legitimately, I don't really have much else to really root for in this race outside of a good race, or maybe a Mike McDowell or Stenhouse come from behind and win. I mean, a host of our win would be cool, or Briscoe winning from a podcast pick would be nice, but there we go. John Nemechek shuffled back, which means McDowell's up into the top 30 at least. Oh, no, Andy gets shuffled right back. Alright, here we go. Let's see. So again, Penske running 1, 2, 3. I am curious to see if the Penske cars let Cindric win this race to try and move him into the playoffs. Granted, none of the three have won a race yet. Let's see. Michael McDowell back in, yeah, he's like 29th, 28th place right now. Alright, so here we go. We got Hamlin in the number 11 trying to close in on the back bumper of Hocevar here. Alright. But, yeah, right now, though, Briscoe, not really much to report on here. Briscoe's just kind of running in place. You got Bell trying to make a pass on Austin Dillon, but the fact that that's not easy goes to show that this track is not going to be an easy track to pass at. Eight lead changes so far. This race is actually pretty good. Alright, so they got a crank it up segment here. Let's see, just kind of looking for any storylines because they're not doing great camera work right now. Got Byron passing the 21 for I don't even know what place that is. Stenhouse is up to 16th. He could potentially steal a win here. But let's see, where's Logano in terms of playoffs? Outside looking in. Cindric's actually not too far outside looking in himself. Which is surprising to say that. Because I anticipated that he would be very far on the outside looking in. Now, granted, almost everybody's pretty far on the outside looking in. Oh, Logano's only out by what, 14 points or so? Oh, yeah, because that's not showing with the 5 car, because the 5 car hasn't had his charter, or not his charter, but his playoff waiver hasn't been agreed upon yet. Which is still the dumbest thing NASCAR could possibly do, would be to not grant him a playoff waiver. Yeah, I mean, there's just not much going on in this race. I mean, we got 80 laps more of this, but it really feels like we might as well just throw it as 8 laps to go at this point. I mean, obviously, cautions could spice things up and whatnot, but... So even with KyleLarson's wreck, he would still be third in points. If the race were to end right now. Mainly because Truex isn't having a great day either. Logano would be up to 16th place. Kyle Busch would drop to 17th. So Kyle Busch would be on the outside looking in on the playoff cut line if the race were to end right now. Well, let's go hop on Twitter and see what Twitter discussions are going on right now. On my main account, let's see. Busch done for the day. Let's see. Yeah, they got something from Kevin Harvick's podcast as they're getting ready to come back from commercial break. I will say, good job to Fox on actually, because I see someone else even credit Fox. They did go and do a good job of actually showing us what actually led to the wreck and not just showing us Larson's car diving in and spinning, because it gave a lot of context and led to a potentially debate about it. I mean, again, I'm the biased Kyle Busch fan here, and even I'm saying that I don't necessarily think it was 100%. Yeah, Kyle was the entire innocent bystander, although... Oh, hey, Rajah Caruth's up in the booth. Let's go. Let's see. Not seeing any real good discussions on Twitter, and we don't. We got the 20 trying to pass the 19 or the 11 on pit on the track, but even that's not really going anywhere. Wait a minute, what? There's a NFL player in the league right now that's actually born in 04? Yikes, those are some young guys. Feels really weird with NASCAR having this race going, and again, Larson could do anything he wanted because there was no, worst case scenario, he's not in the championship anymore. What are they gonna do? Eliminate him even harder? And honestly, if they do flat out deny him a playoff waiver, yeah, I could actually see that being a thing that they do to potentially. I could see him not denying him a playoff waiver until the very end of the regular season with the basically to try and make him waste his entire summer racing as if he's going to be a playoff driver. I mean, that'd be the pettiest thing NASCAR could do, but I could totally see it too. Well, thank you guys for everybody that stayed tuned in here, but yeah, right now this race is just kind of, again, it's dry and boring because you got 3 Penske's all leading the race. I mean, yeah, Penske's had a really slow month in NASCAR during the month of May, but, I mean, this is legitimately just getting slow and boring here. Alright, let's see. So 47 laps in the IndyCar race were really run under the caution as we got Hocevar opening up the green flag pit window. Again, 66 laps to go. You can make it on fuel, or you can make it on fuel and tires from here. The question is Hocevar enough of a concern to the rest of the field to draw them to pit road? Now, he was in 4th place. But, yeah, you've kind of gone and the front 2 have absolutely left everybody in the dust. A literal 5-second gap between Blaney and Logano for 3rd. Alright, real quick, I'm going to listen to another interview here from Kyle Busch as we got, oh, here comes Blaney at pit road. Never mind, we got pit stops from Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney coming to pit road. But yeah, I just want to hear this interview when I get a chance from Bob Pockris. He caught up with Kyle Busch as well. I want to be able to actually hear it, so I'm going to mute the mic real quick. Because I don't know the copyright concerns behind just playing the audio from that. But here we go. So Blaney's on pit road. Now here comes Cindric down to pit road. I'm assuming that these two will draw the rest of the field. Yep, here comes Hamlin to pit road. Now Logano and Bell stay out. But Cindric does bring Hamlin with him. Zane Smith comes down pit road. So again, not a lot of names, but some names coming down. Bell taking the lead of the race here from Logano. I mean, it's okay. I mean, again, this racing is not great. Alright, let's see. Alright, so yeah, here comes everybody else. Logano, Austin Dillon on pit road, along with plenty of others. Bell, Keselowski, Reddick, though, some of the guys who have stayed out so far. Curious to see if we get a caution in the middle of the cyclist stops here. See what ends up happening. But as of right now, it's just a nice, slow cycle of green flag stops. We'll have to wait and see who does the best to get on and off pit road. Now, Blaney was able to pass up Cindric as they were coming off pit road, and now Christopher Bell's right behind him, and he's going to try and lap him again here, just on the off chance of a yellow. And just running fast in general is going to help him potentially stay ahead when he goes and makes his pit stop, even though we know he was like 6-7 seconds behind them at the time of the pit stops opening up. But 60 laps to go. The big 6-0. Let's see, again, Mike McDowell back in 18th is just not reflective of the kind of car he should have had. Let's see, But, yeah, there's not much going on. I mean, again, we got pit stops going, but even then we've had, like, one extra pit stop in the last couple of laps. Everybody else pretty much kind of wait. Again, I think waiting until 50 laps to go, kind of try and break up this final stage in half, is kind of the better choice, but again, I'm not really the one to judge because I'm not the... I'm not a driver, I'm not a crew chief, I've never worked on any of these cars before. Alright, there we go, and they are going to commercial break, which means I get a chance to go ahead and listen to this interview here. Alright, again, real quick, I'm just listening to this Kyle Busch interview while we're going NASCAR side-by-side for commercial break. Alright, so there we go. I just wanted to hear that interview there from Kyle Busch, basically explaining more in depth the position. And yeah, again, ultimately, the more and more I look at this, either Kyle, like, let's take the Larson situation with the whole waiver thing and let's throw it out the window for the moment. Let's just assume that he'll get the waiver. He's locked into the playoffs. Not sure what one point in the middle of the top 10, in the middle of the stage 2 would have mattered to him. And for Kyle Busch, he's not locked into the playoffs at all via any method, whether that's a waiver, whether that's a win, or anything. He needs every point he can get, and he lost out on not only the 1 point for that stage, but he lost out on a ton of points that he could have potentially gotten at the end of the race, but ultimately the race is over for him. I genuinely think he would have finished somewhere between 8th and 13th if he hadn't ended up crashed. So again, that's just kind of my opinion as to where I think Kyle Busch would have finished, but yeah, I think somewhere between 13th and 8th is where he would have finished, and instead he's going to finish way at the back. Daniel Suarez coming to pit road, but yeah, this is definitely a concern, though, now for Kyle Busch, because he's going to be on the edge of the playoffs. And again, with the waiver, it's like, okay, either Larson would be locked in, assuming that NASCAR makes the right choice. Assuming NASCAR makes the right choice about the waiver, Larson's already locked in anyway. And if they make the wrong choice, Larson's out no matter what he does. So, I mean, there's legitimately very little reason to make the decision he did. So, again, pit window is open. They're right about at the 50% mark here. This is where I would be pitting if I'm Stenhouse. Stenhouse and McDowell, come on down. Let's go ahead and get those pit stops done. I'd want to pit now. I think this is a good middle ground. You could try and run another 10, 15 laps, potentially make your final run a little bit shorter. I think that could be good. I also don't necessarily know if we're done with caution flags for the day. So, I mean, I would probably err on the side of pit now and then hope that the cautions will fall your way versus staying out, praying for a caution, and then finding yourself in a hole later because you tried to stay out. Alright. Oh man. Sorry about that, guys. Let's see. Just kind of continuing to look through Twitter for hopefully interesting discussions, because honestly, again, this race has been very dry and very boring in terms of the actual, like, on-track action. I mean, we've had, like, 2 or 3 spins for cautions, and even then, that's not necessarily what I'm talking about. I'm talking about looking for excitement. I'm just talking about, like, in general, being able to stay close and actually pass. Here comes Chastain to the pit road, so Chastain's jumping on the strategy that I want to see potentially my guys jump onto. Even Todd Gilliland. Well, I'd love to see Gilliland, Gibbs, maybe one of those two jump down there. Gibbs doesn't. Stenhouse doesn't. Gilliland does not. Here comes Christopher Bell. Okay, Christopher Bell coming down the pit road. Roughly at the halfway point here. And here comes Reddick as well, coming down pit road. Keselowski will stay out and assume the lead. And that will now make that another one. Let's see. Alright, let's see. Who had what for picks? Let's see. Alright. So, Tyler had Larson. Eli had Kyle Busch. Okay, that is unfortunate. And say, yeah, Jamie's MTJ didn't go well either. I just saw him say his pick didn't go well. Alright, let's see. Again, Keselowski and Elliott are out there in front. Justin Haley comes to pit road. Looks like I must have missed a couple of cars coming to pit road while I was dealing with that. But, yeah, so Stenhouse is on pit road right now. That's the one I was looking for. So, Michael McDowell's now up into the top 10. He must be just waiting this one out, hoping for a caution. I don't know how far they want to go on fuel. As I say, I'd actually like to see them put up last pit laps, not the intervals, if we could get that. And say number of laps since last pit. Let me see if is that an option on my... Oh. Okay, I should not have done that with that one. Alright, we're going to have to fix the leaderboard real quick here. Sorry, I should have done my experiments with my other leaderboard and not this one. Alright, let's see. And... there we go. Alright, not too terrible. I can go ahead and just resize this for now. There we go. So again, 11 lead changes so far on the day. Alright, so let's try this on the other leaderboard. That way I'm not doing this to my leaderboard on the sidebar there. Alright. So last pit lap. There's no way to get laps since last pit. That would be so much more. That would be so much better rather than trying to do the math of, okay, we're technically on lap 200 and the last pit came on lap 143, which means we've run 57 laps. There we go. Thank you, NASCAR, for actually putting them up there on screen for me. So at least I can see them. So everybody's been about, 58 laps since last pit. Do we see Mike McDowell potentially come to pit road here? Nope. Not today. Now, Mike McDowell did pit a little bit later than the rest of the cars around him right now. So, I mean, theoretically, we could see Michael McDowell potentially pit late here. Here comes Todd Gillen to pit road, so at least one of the front row motorsports cars is coming. We'll have to wait and see if it's going to be both or if it's just going to be one or the other. Honestly, I think they'd be smart to split up the strategy. I probably would have gone pitted one of the cars closer to like 45 or 50 to go and then pit the other one really late. But I guess they have a lot of faith in the late run. Now, I mean, again, if they get a caution flag here, they're absolutely golden. But if they don't get that caution flag, then they're going to be in a bit of trouble. Because again, McDowell's out here running on old tires that are going to cost him time over the run. Alright, here we go. Let's see. Now you got Keselowski trying to not get wrecked by guys like Reddick while he's trying to while he's trying to hold them a lap down. Alright, here we go. Alright, let's see. So Mike McDowell's still on track, Bubba Wallace still on track, Ty Gibbs still on track. Those are kind of the guys I'm tracking here. Obviously, you got Keselowski, Larson, and Keselowski, Elliott, Larson at the front of the field, who are the kind of biggest threats here with the strategy. I'd like to see what Mike McDowell could do, though, if he did somehow receive the track position back that he had lost. I mean, that's the other thing, is that we're starting to see drivers almost getting passed for position after drivers have already made their stops. So again, like right now, Blaney actually pit 30 laps ago, so he's good to the checkers. So legitimately, without a caution, I think Blaney wins this race. In fact, I'd be hard pressed to see how Blaney loses this race if there isn't a caution. Because Blaney's already pit, he's got the fuel to make it, unless maybe Keselowski's employing a fuel strategy to make it all the way. Again, I hinted that it was possible, and then we had that caution at the end of stage 2, which helped drag it along. So, I mean, again, like, theoretically, the math is solid here. Eric Jones comes to pit road. That's going to put even less cars on that lead lap. Again, at this point, Mike McDowell's losing so much track position, it's basically better that he stay on track and hope that he can get a caution before he loses a lap to Keselowski. And here comes Elliott to pit road. Elliott pits from second here. Again, I don't know if there's any way that Keselowski could have possibly stretched this all the way. I mean, again, that would be having to stretch it like 97 laps. And I just don't know if that would even be remotely possible. But honestly, if there was somebody to do it, it would probably be a Keselowski, a veteran driver who's been in these types of situations plenty before here. And here we go. Here comes Keselowski to the pits. So I guess not. He isn't employing that kind of strategy. Comes to the pits with 30 laps to go. And I guess hoping for a caution right after he gets out of the pits or whatever and gets back on the lead lap. Because if he can get a caution with fresh tires right behind the leaders, or if you can get a caution where the leaders have to pit, and then he can take his good but not great tires to the front of the field, and then track position happens. There's a couple of different ways that Keselowski could be playing this. I mean, it's interesting, but again, it's just... here we go. Yep, Ty Gibbs coming down pit road. see. Again, right now we're just kind of wait. It's a real wait and see type moment here. McDowell up into the 7th position here. He's hanging on. And again, here goes Gibbs losing a ton of positions as he's on pit road. And yeah, right now again, we're just kind of waiting and seeing. Keselowski, Blaney and Bell here have linked up, and they are now 13 seconds behind Larson, and they are fighting for position. Christopher Bell going to make the challenge. Blaney on the outside is going to have to try and hold him off. So far, first attempt at the pass. Yeah, Blaney ends up with the lead as he got the run off the corner. Let's see again. They're showing the Ty Gibbs pit stop. Hopefully nothing went wrong. Oh, he nearly ran over one of his pit crew guys. I think some of them thought he was going 4 tires, and clearly he wasn't going for 4 tires. Alright, so now it's Larson versus the world, basically. McDowell also is not pit yet, and again, at this point, they're both just waiting for the caution flag to fly. Alright, let's see again. 25 laps to go. There's just not... We're just kind of waiting to see. I mean, again, if Larson can make it all the way, that makes this a whole lot more interesting. Problem is, I don't see any way Larson possibly extended his run to go 100 laps. Although, technically, he was on pit road longer than most people under that caution. So, theoretically, Larson should have a pretty good shot at this. But yeah, right now though, Bell and Blaney are just battling with each other about 13 seconds back, and here comes Larson to pit road. Larson has opted to come to pit road, and that will now create a nice battle between Blaney and Bell. Alright, let's see again. 23 laps to go. These two have gotten to the lead. Now it's just a question of what do the rest of the drivers do. Bubba stays out. McDowell stays out. So far, I think Bubba and McDowell are McDowell, Bowman, Nemechek are some of the only ones who have yet to pit. Do we see a caution flag fly here late? Do we think the caution flags are done? Alright, let's see. To wait and see, obviously, but curious as to who ends up doing this. There goes Nemechek to pit road. And so Nemechek. And let's say right now, Bell is fighting for the lead of the race now, as opposed to fighting a driver who just happens to be too Alright, here we go. Let's see. Alright, let's see. Yeah, right now, Bell's doing everything he can to try and find a way to pass Blaney here. Problem is, passing Blaney is not easy. Again, right now, we're just kind of waiting here. It's a game of wait and see. Here goes Bell back to the inside. 20 laps to go. Can Bell make something happen here? Can he drag race him off? Because the run down that back straightaway from the 12 is going to keep being his strength. Alright, and right now McDowell up to 4th here. He could, again, if he gets a well-timed caution here, could end up being in position for a pretty good spot. Alright, let's see. 13 laps to go. Or, sorry, 19 laps to go. 19 to go. And again, right now we're just waiting here. Where's your update on... Update on what? Because, again, like... I say, if you're looking for a Stenhouse update, I can give you that. I just don't know who you're looking for an update on. When you just ask, where's my update? But, yeah, assuming that you're asking about Stenhouse, he is 24th right now on the lead lap. But, yeah, pretty deep in there. He's going to need a caution to cycle himself back around. Again, right now, I think the more interesting topic is going to be the topic of conversation with the pole sitter there, Michael McDowell. He's in 4th place. Theoretically, he's close. He might be able to stretch the fuel all the way. I just don't know about the tires. And it's going to be a tight one to try and make it. Alright, let's see. So, yeah, again, they're showing the Michael McDowell spot. He's 6 seconds behind the leader here. About 2.5 seconds back. And again, like right now... oh, here we go. Cindric trying to get in on the fight with Bell here at the front of the field. But yeah, Stenhouse will likely be irrelevant unless we get another caution here. And there goes Cindric up into the 2nd place there to work with Blaney. So there's... Alright, let's see. You know, we're just kind of waiting and seeing right now. 16 laps to go. And again, right now, nobody really has the car to challenge Blaney. So unless there's a caution flag, I don't think Blaney's going to really even get challenged even by Cindric. Alright, again, right now, Blaney's got a decent lead in it. But that's kind of the unfortunate part here. Now, McDowell's been on the track for 79 laps. So he's approaching the 80 lap to go mark. And here comes, Michael McDowell comes to pit road. So, Michael McDowell pits with 80 laps to go, or after 80 laps on the tires, 14 to go here. He was hoping for the caution flag there, and ultimately he does not get it. Alright, so yeah, now they're just showing us the replays of all the stuff that's already happened. Penske car stay out at the end of stage 2 with the whole after the Larson crash, and that's how we got to this spot. 13 laps to go, we got a Penske car chasing down another Penske car, and there's no real hope of a non-Penske winner unless we get a caution. I mean, we've been waiting for a caution for like an hour now. So, I mean, I don't know if we're going to get it or not here. Alright, so Michael McDowell, last car in the no, he's first car 1 lap down. So, theoretically, Michael McDowell would be the free pass if somebody does do something. Alright, let's see. Again, defending champion of Ryan Blaney. Looking for that first win of the year. He's 12 laps away from that first win of the year. And, again, barring a... Now, the average from... average lap for the last caution the last 2 years. 3 laps to go. I mean... That certainly can't instill a ton of confidence in Blaney, but it is also only 2 races worth of data points. I would not be shocked to see it potentially flip and have this race go green to the checker. It'll adjust that average for next year. Alright, let's see again. Bell, right now, he's got Truex on his bumper, but there's just not much Bell can really do here without a caution. Now, maybe Bell can end up being the caution if his teammate Truex is willing to punt him. Alright, let's see. Alright, here we go. 10 laps to go, and again, just not much happening. I mean, Bell continuing to slip further and further back, but that's not even really a storyline at this point. So Keselowski will go up to 4th, and Bell down to 5th. But, yeah, again, this really doesn't feel like it's going to matter much. I mean, Blaney getting locked into the playoffs will be nice. It'll be another win for Ford. 2nd win of the year for them. Outside the All-Star race. But, again, no... You know what I'm saying? Unless we get a caution flag within these last 7 laps, it's going to be a really slow end of this race. Because ultimately, again, this fuel strategy is ultimately played out to nothing. Nothing really overly interesting happened outside of the fact that they were able to take the lead under the Kyle caution for the let's see again. We're just kind of waiting. Justin Haley up into the top 10. I mean, again, like, this top 10 is not exactly a boring top 10 by any stretch. I mean, Cindric, Dillon, Hocevar, Haley. Again, this top 10 should be interesting, but it just does not feel like it because it's been such a slow burn to the way the race has gone. There hasn't been a crazy, exciting move or even really a situation where we thought somebody else could win for the last, 30 minutes. For the last, 30 minutes or so, the only person we thought could win was really Blaney or maybe Cindric if Cindric turns it on at the very end. Alright, let's see again. 5 laps to go. Average of the last caution being with 3 laps to go, so I mean, we're not technically out the woods yet, but again, this race is just so mind-numbingly plain in terms of the strategy, because again, none of the strategies turned out to provide anything of real value, aside from, again, the Penske cars near the front, and a couple of unexpected names like Dillon or Hocevar or Haley. Alright, let's see. 4 laps to go. It'll be 3 to go this time by. Is there any chance Blaney can avoid bringing out a caution here at the very end of the race? Alright, let's see. 1.4, 1.3 for Blaney, 1.3... Alright, let's see again. Right now, we're just kind of waiting to see if anything's going to end up happening here at the end. Blaney's just kind of holding his line here. Briscoe ended up going and getting cycled way farther back here. Actually, Briscoe's inside the top 20. But, yeah, he's way further back than he was. 3 laps to go, and we got... Here we go. Let's see. 3 laps to go. This is where NASCAR said that the caution had been happening the last couple of years. Bell's losing a couple of spots here as he just starts to fade. No, he's actually going to try and rebound, and not really going to be able to get very far. Alright, here we go. 2 laps to go. All Blaney needs to do is get to that white flag, and he knows he's got a good shot at this one. All he needs to see is that white flag in the air. He doesn't need to be flashy. White flag is in the air, and here comes... Oh! Wait! Blaney's out of gas! Blaney is out of gas? And Austin Cindric is gonna win this race. There we go. I don't know why Blaney ran out of gas, though. He and Cindric pitted at the same exact time. And here comes Cindric into 3 and 4. Final lap. Nobody behind him. And it is going to be Austin Cindric winning this race. Through 3 and 4. I mean, hey, it took till the very last lap. But Blaney ran out of fuel. And we got our big exciting strategy moment. And I got no idea why. Why did Blaney run out of gas? Like, did they short fill him? Did they forget to fill the tank fully up? Like, can somebody explain this one to me? What happened? Like, did they just mismanage it that poorly? So, yeah, Cindric first, Hamlin second, third, Keselowski, fourth, Reddick, and running out the top 5 was Logano. Dillon sixth, seventh, Blaney, 8th, Hocevar, 9th, Justin Haley, and rounding out the top 10 was KyleLarson. KyleLarson ends up in the top 10 after he takes out Kyle Busch. And there goes Austin Cindric getting ready to burn it down. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know what the... I sincerely just want to know. Okay, let's take to Twitter and see what's going to happen here. Cindric wins. Out of gas. Let's see. Again, like, the out of gas is... It was interesting, but it took forever to get to that point. Alright, so Bell lost power. That's what happened to Christopher Bell and why he dropped back. He was losing power there at the end. But, yeah, I mean, that's just crazy. Alright, well, as per usual, if you guys just came for the race reaction, I will see you guys next week. Probably not doing the Xfinity race just because of how late it is at night. And what else I got going on Saturday. For those of you guys who know, you know. If you guys don't, it's a personal thing, so. But, yeah. And for those of you guys who want to stay, we'll be going through the full finishing order so you guys can figure out where your favorite drivers finish. So, Cindric first. Again, Denny Hamlin second. Third, Keselowski. Fourth, Reddick. Logano fifth. Austin Dillon 6th, 7th was Bell, 8th Hocevar, 9th Haley, and Larson 10th. Ty Gibbs coming home in the 11th position here today. Ross the Boss Chastain coming home 12th. 13th was ChaseElliott, 14th Chris Buescher. And rounding out the top 15 today was William Byron. Todd Gilliland comes home 16th, 17th for Chase Briscoe. 18th, Daniel Hemrick, and 19th is Zane Smith, with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. rounding out the top 20 here today. Bubba Wallace comes home 21st. Noah Gragson 22nd. 23rd is Daniel Suarez. And Ryan Blaney comes home last car on the lead lap in 24th. Michael McDowell almost unlapped himself at the end of this race, coming home 25th. 26th, Eric Jones. 27th, John Hunter Nemechek. Alex Bowman 28th. 29th, Ryan Preece. And rounding out the top 30 is Derek Kraus, driving that number 16 car for Colleague. Harrison Burton in the 21 car comes home 31st. Corey LaJoie coming home 32nd in the number 7 car. And that's all the cars that were only one lap down. Cody Ware finishes the race 2 laps down in 33rd spot. Truex comes home 3 laps off the pace in 34th. Kyle Busch, 35th, comes home 35th, 101 laps shy of the finish. And, Blaney's talking about needing to get some luck on the last sides and on their side, and talking about how the last two races they had a good shot to win, and both races ended up pretty poorly. And Josh Berry, 131 laps before the end of the race, his race came to an end. But, so hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, again, leave a like on the video, subscribe if you guys are new so you guys don't miss any future videos or live streams. Again, no Xfinity race next week, or I won't be streaming the Xfinity race because it starts at 8 p.m. and I got a lot going on Friday, so I will see you for the Cup race. Let me see when IndyCar is happening, or if IndyCar is happening. Next weekend at 3:30 p.m. on June 9th. Is that Saturday or is that Sunday? That is Sunday. I'm assuming that's probably the same time as Sonoma. Let's see. Sonoma is, 3:30. So, IndyCar and NASCAR going on at the exact same time. But, so I'll see you guys for the Cup race on Sunday. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next video. Live stream, whatever you guys decide to do with the rest of your night. Have a great night, everybody, and goodbye!